Hey guys, and welcome to my channel and welcome to this video. Today I will be showing you a painting process of a winter scene. I did, and well, I guess I did have quite a lot of struggles doing this one, and I hope you will stick with me and until the end and just see how it all went. But before we start with that, I do have an announcement for you. I have a big sale in my shop which will go for a very short time. I will be closing my shop for holidays and for a while after that, so all the items are on sale up to 20%. If you like to get something for yourself, if you were eyeing something, well, this is your chance. It might be the last chance for quite a while, so I'll put the link in the description box. If you want to check it out, you can find it there. So I started my painting with just a simple sketch for the window, and the sketch will be available for download from my website. So again, there is a link in the description box and you can find it there. I was using quite a dark pencil for my sketch, so I wanted to just remove the excess graphite and use the kneaded eraser for that. And you know, when you're having that graphite on your paper, when you start wetting your paper, it just goes all around the paper, and I did not also wanted that. So I decided to just lighten my sketch and pick up that excess graphite. Right now I'm mixing my paints and I will be using blue. This is something like an ultramarine blue mixed with a darker brown. And you know, when you use those two colors together, they create a very beautiful grayish tone. I love that. That's my favorite, actually. Gray mix of a darker blue, something like ultramarine, and something like sepia. Those are the two colors you can use to create gorgeous grays. So with this larger flat brush, again on wet paper, I'm adding some trees. And you can see that my paint is bleeding, but that's absolutely fine. I do want to make it a little bit looser and I do want it to bleed, so I don't mind that. It just creates a foliage look and the impression of some foliage also there. And just tapping same paint on top. And I do not want those harsh splatters, so I'm just going around with my brush, tapping with the tip and just helping it bleed all around, creating the impressions of the foliage. And this time I'm using this round brush. This is number, I believe, 8, and going all around. I'm not using dark paint, so when it dries it will be quite lighter, which will actually show itself to be quite a problem later on when I try to add what I was planning to add, but we will see that later on. I left it to dry fully, so now I'm adding, I guess, tree trunks and using a very light wash of paint, not using saturated paint at all. This is a very almost transparent wash on top, just to add a little bit more of the sharpness to my tree trunks. And you can see now it's barely, I guess, even visible on top, but it does add a little bit of the sharpness. Splattered some white and left it to dry completely for the snow. Left it to dry completely, and when it was dried, I used this lid to draw in the circle for my bulb. And also used this masking tape, which I glued just on top of the sticker paper, and cut a circle inside to make myself some sort of a stencil, to make it easier, of course, to do the circle for the bulb. But if you don't want that, that's just completely optional and you can skip that. You don't have to have a stencil, but I like to make it easier on myself. So right now I'm having quite issues because I'm trying to pick up the paint for the edge of my bulb. At first I was thinking to make it transparent, like a glass bulb. I was having a hard time picking up the paint at the edges, and also added a line, darker blue for the edge, and then just on top tap tapped a little bit of decorations, and when I removed the tape, it wasn't visible at all. I did not have the effect that I wanted, so it was quite a disappointment, I guess. I was just trying to fix it all up by adding a little bit more of the paint, because it was just looking like some sort of a circle there. It wasn't looking like any bulb, like a glass bulb. So right now at this point, I'm thinking to myself, what would I do with this? This doesn't look good. There is not enough of the contrast between the background and the glass bulb. So I should have made the background darker, and it might have worked if I've done that, but I haven't. My background is quite light, so I wasn't sure what to do with it. I did draw, I guess, that reflection for the window, but it did not work at all either. I've added a little bit also of the white gouache for the edge, and that didn't work at all either. So right now I do want to point out that I painted those windows using again the same mixture of colors, blue and darker brown. And I thought to myself, maybe when I add those, maybe the bulb will pop out and just start looking how I saw it in my head. But that really did not happen. I left those wooden parts of the window to dry, and when they were dry, I wanted to fizzle out the edges. Did not want the edges to be completely sharp, because I wanted to create a little bit of fuzziness and maybe some fog there on the window. So I've used just a clean water and a brush and fuzzied out the edges. And at this point, I just removed the masking tape, thinking, this is it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this painting. And then I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to try to salvage it. I'm going to paint my bulb in a color. I'm not going to leave it transparent. I'm just going to paint it. So I have used violet color and a little bit of blue. Maybe I would like that I've used red. Maybe the impact would be a little bit stronger. This one just again blended with the background and everything else, and it just did not stand out, but I did that. I just painted it in violet, left some white parts for the reflection, and a little bit of the darker paint on the edges. And right now I'm just tapping in the clean water to create a little bit more of the texture. Paint is not fully dried, but I did want to create a reflection on the window. So I'm just going over the edge and just trying to move the paint a bit to bleed into that part and create somewhat a shadow on the window. And also use the same color. This is again violet, mixed in with a little bit of the blue, and added it also around the edges of the window, just to create maybe the impression of some fog, or just maybe some ice and some water emerging on the edges of the windows, because it's cold outside and it's warm inside. So a little bit of the dots, white dots, just again to embellish my bulb. And some parts are wet and some parts are dry. So you can see that in parts that paint was bleeding and in parts not. Also adding a bit more of the details to the window frame. And with that, I was finished. I can't say that I was really happy with this painting and the process, but I still wanted to share it with you, because I do wanted to show you that, I do have also struggles, and sometimes I have one vision and it's not turning out the way I wanted to turn out. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching, for supporting my channel and for subscribing. If you haven't done that, you should do, definitely. And again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye!